All right.
Here we go.
Yes, we are live. Very good. Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inspirational Bar Podcast. Podcast created to show you the most successful people from our industry and to hear their stories and learn from their wisdom, and by that to become better bartenders and better people. And I'm very excited every time, and today I'm even more excited to bring you a very special person who won Bacardi Global Legacy competition in 2017, the competition that I was also participating but never got through locals. Yeah, I tried a couple of times. I already told that yesterday because we had a podcast also with 2018 winner that I believe today's guest knows him very well.
Yeah.
And yeah, Eric. And today I present you the person who won in 2017, round one Ongevalle. I believe I pronounced good. Hi, Ran. How are you?
Yeah, well pronounced. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Thank you very much for inviting me on the podcast. It's great to see how sunny it is in Miami and how dark it is here in Bruges. Yeah, I'm very happy today to share my story, to share the journey I've been through from 2017 till now, because it's been a very long journey until now, until I opened my own place. So
Okay.
nice to talk about it with somebody. So welcome, guys. Hello.
So it's also you opened your own place, so it's the next step, I could say. But yeah, at first I would like to hear everything from the beginning. Like because we know you are the champion of Bacardi Legacy, and it was one of the most toughest competitions in bartending world, I guess. As I know. And it's not very easy to win that in a global level. I mean, it's hard.
Exactly.
And to open our own place is also another challenge that arises, because I used to have a bar myself, so it's very challenging thing. But I would like to start from the beginning, because everybody starts somewhere, because now we see you in those spotlights,
Yeah.
but it's today.
Yep.
And how everything started. But I'm want not just Bacardi Legacy, but
But
your
before
bartending journey. Yeah, the first day that you got involved into that industry.
yeah,
All right, I
I
give you the word.
yeah, I think like the thing is like nobody's born to be a bartender. Nobody has the ambition when they're in high school to say like I'm gonna become a bartender professionally, this and that, blah blah. Like I think everybody rolls into the job at some point or another. For me, it was the same. Like I never wanted to be a bartender or someone that worked in the bar industry or restaurant industry. It just happened. And the thing is, for me, it happened at the right time where I got to know the beautiful side of the bar industry. And then at one point, I was like, this really interests me. And this industry is quite big and quite large, and everyone's so knowledge and so professional and so friendly. And I was like, let me go. I want to go deeper into this sort of professionality. And then I found out that in the bartending industry, there's so much like friendship and professionality and professionalism. And then I was like, you know what? I want to make this thing my job. Like I want to invest every time I have, like everything that I do, I want to invest into becoming the best bartender that I can be myself. And it is something that someone grows into. Again, like no one's born to be a bartender. Like I think it's just something that you happen to do, or some people might have been born for it, but you just roll into it, and then you see like, okay, this is nice. And I think it's a lot of aspects. It's first of all, it's making the drinks, like inventing drinks, making classics, like seeing your guests enjoy the drinks. But apart from that, it's hospitality. And what I found that I enjoyed most out of becoming a bartender is about making people happy, about making drinks. Like for me, I remember, and this is a story that I tell everyone. The first job that I got as a bartender was when I worked at the casino in Knokke. So the casino is an awful place. It's a place where you have to work from 8 till 4. You cannot leave early. You cannot leave late. Blah blah. And it's a place where people spend a lot of money. People come and you see people spend thousands of euros, and becoming poor or becoming rich. And my father was the bar manager back then, 2013. And I remember that it was a very quiet night, and I was like being there, like, oh my god, what am I going to do? And there was this one guy, and he came to the casino a lot of times. And at one night, he lost all his money, so he was like big betting, blah blah. And he came to the bar, and he was asking for a coffee, and he didn't have enough money to buy a coffee. And he was like we're like doing like this, blah blah. I mean, that's like you know what? I'm gonna make you a cocktail, and it's on us. Like it's on the house, blah blah. The guy was like, okay. So he was busy with his phone, like being like, oh my god, blah blah. And my dad made this drink. And the moment this guy drank from the cocktail, I saw him like for one moment he forgot everything. Like he was enjoying that one specific moment of like enjoying the cocktail. And I was like, this is the magic. Like this is the one feeling that I want to do for the rest of my life. Like make drinks for people that can escape for this one very moment. And this for me is the most beautiful part of the job. Like this for me is it's everything about bartending. It's about making the perfect drinks, like making it for the right people, like making it for people that just come in like I'm gonna have one drink, and then they stay for like 10 drinks, like like the whole thing is like it's such a beautiful industry.
Okay, that's really a very magic moment that you were talking about. So as I understand, you started in 2013 in a casino bar, some casino. All right.
So well, the first job I got was was in a casino, and then I started off as a bar manager. So I was an experienced bartender for I was a 1-year bartender, and then one guy gave me like a title like you are the bar manager, and I was forced to being the guy that was doing all the orders and all the contracts and all this and that. And then that 1 year I learned so much, but I was pushed into it. And then aside from that, I did a lot of competitions like Diageo, Bacardi, all the small competitions. Apart from that, and it learned me to be like a very good bartender, like very skilled and knowledgeable bartender. And this for me was like the most important thing about it. Like for me, that was like, okay, if I want to make my name, I have to be very skilled and very professional and all that thing. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So it's Bacardi. So okay. How many competitions have you ever counted? How many competitions you've done?
So Bacardi Legacy, I did I think 2 Diageo World Class, and then I did a couple of local competitions and this and that.
Okay.
After a couple of competitions, I was like, you know what? I'm sick of the competitions. I don't want to do it, blah, blah. And then the regional manager of Bacardi, Mark Kolfs, who was one of my great friends, he told me, like, you know what? You should compete in Bacardi Legacy. And I was like, no, it's okay. It's good. He's like, no, you should compete. I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to compete. But if I compete, I put my heart and my soul into it. I'm going to do the very best and the very best of it. He's like, okay, let's do it. And then from that moment, we did this whole thing together, and like really very very intensive. Like for example, we had like, apart from the pharmacy where I worked where I worked back then, we had like, this private event space, and I made up a fake finally performance. So I put like all chairs, I put a camera, I put a bar with all the bad bottles of Bacardi, and I was like repeating and like I did everything exactly how I wanted to do in Berlin, and that helped me a lot. That like preparing so much and rehearsing helped me to eventually win the competition. So that was like very nice.
Okay, I heard your speech, and I remember it was, I think, when I first time heard your speech on Bacardi, it was not in 2017. I think it was later. One, I don't remember, but it was a long time ago, 1.5 years ago. And I remember I was listening and like, wow, like, I don't know, you blew my mind, like by all the like this, fluent talking, so easy, so like I don't even find words in English, to describe how much mind-blowing was the speech, like because I did a lot of competitions myself, and talking is a hard part for me. I learned, but it's like I saw you and I feel, wow, like
No, but
how like
like
that.
then like it's
So
funny because there's two things about that. Like first of all, the speech that I gave on the finals was a speech that I've been rehearsing for 7 months. Like
okay.
I've been rehearsing it like in front of a camera, and I watched it on video, and I was like, okay, I can do this better, this blah blah. So I knew it by heart. I could
Okay.
say it in my sleep. I could say my speech out loud, like okay, blah blah. I can still say it now, like 3 years later, I can still do it exactly the same. I've that much and that well. And the thing is, before I came up on stage, just so imagine you're in Berlin, you're in top 8 of Bacardi Legacy. You know that there's 350 people watching live, sitting in that room, in that sweaty German room, like everyone's watching is super quiet. And then there's like more than 100,000 people watching online. And so we come on stage, and I came on stage, and I was like, I don't remember shit. I was like, oh my god, I had this blackout, and everything that I thought of was like everything was gone. I was like, fuck, oh my god. And then the moment I started talking, like everything came back, and I was like a train, like okay, do this. But that was only because I studied it so good. You have to study it so good, and you have to be sure of what you tell. Like the thing is that I always said to people entering Bacardi Legacy is that bring a story that you believe. Like don't do something like, for example, you have like a super big bar, you're like, okay, now I'm going to do something like zero waste and trust me, like blah blah, and this shell blah blah. No, do something that you believe and you stand for. Because if not, if you just study it to be studied, then no one's going to believe you. Like everything that I told was pure from the heart. And just the mere fact that I was on the stage and not remembering anything, but that I could say it, was because it came from my heart. And that was for me the most important thing. And that was for me that I thought like, okay, I'm just a small country. I'm just a guy from Belgium. Like if you see it in like the whole Bacardi Legacy, you have Japan, Taiwan, Greece, like all the big countries, and I'm the guy from Belgium. Like I just have 11 million people living in my country. I'm the small guy. It's like I'm never gonna win. Who am I in the eyes of Bacardi, in the eyes of the world, in the eyes of the bartending world? But still, I managed to win. So that for me was first of all like an example that Bacardi Legacy is all about like the real drink. It's not about, most people say like, okay, competitions, bartending competitions, it's just about people like in marketing and blah blah. No, it's about finding the real drink. And then about me being there on stage and just doing what I did and like winning was like, this is because I studied for it, and this is because I put my heart and my soul into the whole preparation, into the whole speech, into everything. And that's what made me really proud. And that's why I think like Bacardi Legacy is one of the best competitions in the world, because it can showcase the best of a bartender that you can have. Like it's just all about goodness.
Yeah, that's your speech was so much from my heart that's one of the words to describe it. That it was so involving, and it was so great. I think I'll go to watch it once more after our podcast today. And for those who are
Follow me, Etran van Ongevalle.
sorry.
Follow me, Etran van Ongevalle.
Okay. And for those who are watching this podcast, I will put a link in the description, so you could do the same. And a question about that speech. So it's no doubt probably you wrote everything yourself, or was that something else included?
The thing is, and this was a good thing. So I had when I was preparing, I had this one place where I could totally lose myself into the Bacardi Legacy competition. So like I said, we had this one venue that we did like private events. So I made this whole desk office myself, and I had this big table. But what I did is every time I came in, I wrote a different speech on a piece of paper. So I was writing it, blah blah. Okay, put it down. I went out, came back again next day or next week, and I wrote it again. And then I had like 11 speeches.
Okay.
Speeches, I was like doing it like a marker. I was marking everything that I said every time in every speech. I was like, okay, all these things that I do are straight from the heart. And from those things, I distilled it. Like I made a cocktail from all those things. And then I had one text. And I remember like saying it out loud for the first time. And I was like getting goosebumps. I was like, yes, this is it,
Yeah.
So this was for me like, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of ups and downs, because at one point I was also like, what am I doing? Like, this is not good, like this is not world competition wise and blah blah. But then again, like, you have to be sure of yourself. You don't have to come to Legacy being unprepared, because I've been a judge twice and I see when people come unprepared. You have to come there and you have to stand there like, yes, this is my moment, like, I'm gonna say this, and blah, believe my story, this is who I am. But if they're like, like, okay, I'm making a drink, has a 50 mils of a sparkling water, blah blah, no, like, I'm gonna put 50 mils of sparkling water because of this. You have to be very sure and have to be very, like, fluently and yeah, and everything. So this is for me, when I was judging Legacy, was the most important thing. Like, just know who you are and be very sure of what you bring on stage.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's very good advice, actually, for everybody who wants to compete, because that's very. I know it myself, and there used to be moments when I go to the competition and like my hands like that. And
Of course. Yeah.
all right, Ron. And what other important things helped you to win the competition? What do you think? I mean, what do you think? So one thing I understand, it's very important, is to rehearse, to train on your speech, to do it. Like, another thing is to do what comes from your heart. What other things helped you to win? What do you think? What other advices?
Out of all other things you say, I can say one thing is just be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to make yourself a super bartender for the competition. Just be yourself. Do the things that you always do, and don't try to be extra special for the competition. You can train yourself. You can be a better bartender for that one moment, but don't try and pretend to be someone else. Because the thing is, you can come to Bacardi Legacy and you can come and being like, okay, I'm this and blah 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 blah. But like, the thing is, eventually, you just have to be like who you are. Like, I've always been myself, and being a bartender, like, I've always been the guy that says stuff that no one says, because I'm just like straight out. Like, even now, like, I was working with Artesian and I was saying things to guests that are not allowed in the 5-star comfort, but I was saying it because I was myself, and people respect that. You don't have to be super special or super extreme someone else, like coming to a competition like Legacy or doing something. If you stay yourself, and if you stay true to yourself, and if you just be the bartender that you've always been, then I think that you will do more things than if you're just pretending to be someone else. Because I've noticed, like, I've been now in the industry, like I said, like now like 8 years since I've been in the casino, like 10 years almost, and I've seen people passing by that, like, and at one point you think like, I know this much, so I think I can do this much, like people, like, I'm not gonna say that people pretend to be more than they are, because I have respect for everyone that's becoming a bartender. But the thing is, like, if you are just your genuine self, and not too much of a like a I'm a star tender, like, fuck this, I know everything and I know this and I know that. Like, if you stay humble and you are willing to learn every day, then people will respect you more. And this is what I love about bartenders. Like, I've had guest shifts here. I have guest shifts like Palo Cortado before, from great bartenders, like world's best bartenders. And the thing is, what I've seen is that all the bartenders, like, even if they have a status of being like a star tender, like the best bartender in the world, they're still like just their humble self, just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have that, blah blah, And this, what is for me, like, this is the most important thing. Like, don't lose yourself in the whole bartending industry, because there's so many competitions nowadays, and there's so many things that can get you into that star tender status. About, you've won a competition, you are the best. Wait, you won a competition, you are the best. No, you are the best. No, you are the best. Like, this whole thing. And the thing is, like, the competitions are great, and like Legacy, it has made me into the person I am today. Like, I've visited so many countries and so many things. But for me, if I meet another bartender, it's like the most important thing is about just like, if you're just yourself. I hate people that just pretend and just being like, oh yeah, blah blah, because it is a serious job. Yes, of course it is,
Yes.
but it's a job that we do all together. So don't pretend to be that superior people. Like, what? Wait, milk washing? What? I know about milk washing. Like, what? Or like one person has been to Oaxaca for one time. Like, you don't know shit about mezcal. I do, because I've been to Oaxaca. Like all that thing. Like,
Yeah, I understand.
like we're a big circle. We're all friends. Like, let's stay friends. Because I've been to like now, for example, I've been into rum, a lot into rum. Oh my god, I love rum. Like Rum Agricole, I'm releasing my own rum next week. It's
Whoa.
like it's like an independent bottling from a very famous distillery. I can't say which.
Okay.
Yeah, blah, blah. So I'm all into these forums like online, and we have this one forum where everyone's just like talking about like big importers and like sugar and blah blah. I'm like, fuck this. Just enjoy what you do. We're all here together in this specific forum because we love rum. Like, don't try to be like the smart guy or the wise guy or this and that. And I think it's the same in bartending. I think it's the same in everything around the world. It's just like, be genuine and be yourself. And if you be yourself, then you will make a big thing about it.
Okay, very nice words. I like them very much. So Ran, how did winning? I already heard some, like you say, you started to travel to do guest shift, but how did winning Bacardi Legacy change your life?
Well, it changed my life a lot because before I was competing in Bacardi Legacy, I planned to do a traveling around the world with my wife now, who I have a beautiful kid with. And I didn't tell Bacardi. Because I didn't want to spoil my chances. And the moment I didn't want to spoil my chance, because like, what is the chance that I'm gonna win this whole thing, And then I won, and I was like, fuck, okay. And then next day I went to Dickie. I was like, yo, Dickie, and this was May 2017. I was like, yo,
Okay.
Dickie, like in 3 months I'm gonna go and travel for 1 year around the world. So I won't be able to travel with you to do this, to do that, blah blah. He was like, that's great, because we're gonna do a lot of countries that you normally can't visit, but you can visit now. So in the world trip, I did like China. We did guest shifts in India, Taiwan, Thailand. Like, these were all countries that I was supposed to visit, but because of Bacardi, I did like guest shifts and seminars and this and that, and did everything there. So it helped me to discover a lot of people, like still people that I know today that I can call my friends, like Mr. Kai Lum, who started the Cocktail Critters. He's a great guy. And then some other people that I really got to know, and people that hosted me into this whole new era of bartender on the roads. And so it helped me to gain a lot of knowledge. And now I see it as well in my bartending, that I have a lot of inspiration, like people from China, people from Taiwan, from Japan, that I have like it's all different aspects about bartending that I put into my bar. So that's great. That's a big influence. So thank you, Bacardi.
That's definitely when by listening you, it's so nice to know all those travels and making guest shifts and knowing our cultures, bartenders and hospitality, standards, and I mean those things. So Ran, what was the most interesting, most remarkable guest shift that you had during your life?
The most number one bar was in Japan, was a bar Benfidik, and it's still my favorite bar in the world.
Okay.
So this is a bar, like, imagine in Tokyo. So in Tokyo you can smoke in the bars. That's amazing.
It used to be in Europe. I still remember when I smoked a long time ago.
So I came into the bar Benfidik, which is led by Hiroyasu Kurosima. Yeah. So I went there, and this guy's like, he's a very famous bartender. He's a guy that's well respected for everything he does. And I came in, and this is like it's a small bar. I think they can fit 18 people or something.
Oh.
And yeah, so I went in there, and there's like this big like Baroque painting behind me. There's like this old clavis cymbal, medieval music playing very loud. And I was standing there like making clarita like this, and then there's like all Japanese people in front of me like smoking cigars and cigarettes. It's like a movie, and I was like making things like, this must be the most beautiful day in my life. It's like, this is for me. This is the epitome of drinking. Because I had 2 bar backs for like an 18-seat bar. I had 2 bar backs, and they were bringing me like fresh hand cut ice. And then one was like bringing like 60 euro glasses. Like, dude, it's like, yes, of course. I was shaking it and then like stirring it. I was like pouring it. I was like, man, this is it. This is all about bartending. This is like the epitome of hospitality and like this and that. So bar benefiting is definitely like, please, I would book a ticket just to go to Japan, just to go to Bar Benfica, because it's the most amazing place ever.
Wow.
So it's the most memorable place, definitely.
It sounds very interesting. I hope one day I'll go there. If I'll go to Japan, definitely I'll go to that bar.
We go together.
Oh, that would be even more great. Yeah, that's true. Wow. All right, Ron. A question about bartenders. What do you think? It's just your personal opinion through the years. What separates good bartender from the great bartender? I'm not talking about bad bartenders. I'm already, there are good bartenders and there are those great what do you think are the 1, 2, 3 key points? What separates, what makes you that small level up?
I don't want to divide the bartenders into, like, I remember when I was a beginning bartender and I didn't know shit about bartending, and I looked up to the great bartenders, and I don't want to divide those, because I think like in every learning process there's a step towards being a great bartender. But I think and which I've learned throughout the world travels, throughout having an own bar, and then working abroad, is that like paying attention to things. Like, first of all, step 1 is like making drinks. I'm gonna do this, blah blah blah. I'm gonna make an infusion of this and make blah blah blah. But then like having an idea of how you want to do it, like having an idea of a bar program, having an idea of like details, and this is what I think. Like, I've been having a bar now for, well, we've been open for 3 months due to Corona. Thank you. No, but the thing is, like, for me, the most important thing is about like having details in the bar. Like, every single aspect is about like thinking about it. And I think a great bartender in that specific thing is like thinking ahead of the drinks. Like, you can make a great drink for a guest, but you can have a great drink, but in 5 years they won't remember what you made them, but they will remember how you made them feel. So this is like thinking about how you will make them feel. Like, thinking about if a guest doesn't know what he wants to drink, and you say, okay, this, and guide them. So it's more about like having a bigger understanding of the whole bartending scene. Like, now in the Corona, I've been busy with making Excel sheets of 600 classic cocktails. Okay. So I've been looking up like in every old book and blah blah. I've been making like 600 classic cocktails that people that come to work for me will have to learn by heart in 2-3 years. Like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, if you have a basic understanding of like everything that evolved, like that has to do with bartending, then I think that will make you a great bartender. Like, yeah. The thing is, when I started bartending, I remember that I was making a syrup out of rosemary and star anise and this and that, blah blah, and I was only busy with the drink. But now I find myself in a situation where I'm more about, okay, I have the drink. What about the glass? What about the ice? What about the garnish? What about the people that drink it? What about my table? What about the things that I serve it on? So it's all about the bigger picture. And for me nowadays, when I look at younger bartenders, which I will never say to younger bartenders, is that like you have to think 2 steps ahead of the drink you're making. Like, if you're making a drink with rosemary, like, why you're making it? For who are you making it? Like, why are you using this this specific method? Like yeah, there's so much to do. So
yeah. Yeah, that's true. All right, Ron, and now to continue a little bit, continuing to your story, because we covered your stage from start to winning Bacardi and all those trips, and tell us your story from winning Bacardi Legacy to the day you are today? Like you're owning a bar, or I think I read that you owning two bars, or like a cone, or like, I mean.
I'm not. So the thing is,
Okay.
I won Bacardi Legacy back in 2017 when I was working in the bar of my father and my sister. So a bar that I was being
Oh.
head bartender, so it was like more like my bar. Then after that, I worked a couple of months further in the bar. Then I stopped working with my wife. Then we traveled the world, and at the half of the world trip, so 6 months in, I asked my wife to marry me. Beautiful story and Tulum, blah blah. Then we came back. Then I worked 6 months in the Artesian, where I learned so much. Then I came back. We did a pop up. So did Palo Cortado, which was a sherry focused bar
Hmm.
with cocktails and sherry and blah blah. And
Okay.
then Corona hits. We started the bar. Corona hit again, and then Corona. So yeah, between the time of winning a legacy and now has been a lot of stuff, but yet again not so much, you know.
All
So it's just like the world travels, Artesian, and then Corona.
right. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, Corona is another thing. But if you're saying that, okay, I will have question about Corona as well, but
Later, later.
maybe later. Yeah. So okay. So you owning a bar now. You opened a bar and you're all
This
right.
beautiful bar.
Yeah, it's very nice. It would be nice to come visit and have a drink there. So
Yeah,
maybe
please.
someday after Corona
Yeah.
will will pass away somewhere, you know. All right, and the question then about this Corona situations, because you definitely was thinking about it for sure, especially when you have a bar, definitely. What do you think? How the world will change? I'm talking about bartending industry, bars and bartending industry. You know, how the world will change in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Talking about bartending.
I think what I see now is that the guest shifts are going to disappear. Maybe seminars are going to disappear because I've heard, like, I hope not, definitely not. But the thing is, I've learned from people that say, like, okay, we pay, for example, like big brands, we pay X amount of money to have a big bartender coming into Lithuania or UK or blah blah, and we have one room for like 50 people, or 100 people, or 500 people, and then suddenly they pay less for a bartender in an online seminar that can host like 1,000 or 2,000 people, like 3,000 or like 5,000 people. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
I I don't hope that we will come to this age, but I think like we've been in Corona so long now that big brands will like suddenly realize that like we can do more with less, you know, and
Okay.
like well for me one of the most beautiful aspects about the bar was that like I went to go and judge in Japan, and then I had a guest shift in Moscow, and then I did this and that, and for me traveling was super important and like super nice, and I loved it, and I really don't hope that after the Corona that they will have like, okay, we don't have to do it because it does make more money, you know. Like for us, it's not a plus that we do it, instead of like yeah,
Okay.
more yeah.
But I think it's a bit different, you know, when you know, even we can talk now on this podcast, you know, through the internet. But and I could make Larita here at home, you know, if I just go buy an ingredients and make. But it's much different if I would know that you are coming here to Miami to do a guest shift,
It's
and I
definitely
could go there and get this cocktail from you and see you
no, it is
person.
definitely different. But I think no, I think you and me both know that some big brands they don't like it's more about like the feeling than it is about just like the general marketing and all this. If they would can market like okay, Ryan Van Ongevalle is doing a guest share podcast in Miami now, blah blah. So many bartenders like, and I'm gonna make this drink now. Oh, they invite me to Miami to come. Like, I think we'll have a like smaller audience coming to the bar where I do a guest shift than I would have to do something online, you know. And this is something like I'm not a pro guy for it, definitely not. Like I still hope that we can do all this stuff, but I've been thinking about it, and I've heard big brands also think about it. I think about like why should we invest X amount of money into flights, into visas, into this, into that, and blah blah, and all stuff that we can just pay like half the amount that we would normally invite him, and just do like a big live podcast. Why not? We can make a whole seminar. We can do like a big this, and you see so many sites and brands and blah popping up like we do this, we do that, blah blah. And the thing is, like, I'm talking about like just the general point of view of how I'm seeing the whole like, you know, about how like and
Sure.
and it is like, I hope that one day I can travel again. I can come to you and we can do this podcast together in one screen instead of two screens.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be better.
We can go like fucking 22 degrees like Miami. Freaking degrees. No, but yeah, I hope it's gonna be that way. But the thing is, like, if you look at the whole economical aspect about it, you know that like a lot of the big brands, like apart from bartending, apart from the whole industry that we have, like they have seen the positive influence about like teleworking, like working from home, doing seminars, online stuff, you know, online selling, online this, online that. So I hope that we'll come back to like the era where the bartenders are invited from all around the world to this one specific like this one event that everyone can come to, instead of like this whole online stuff, you know. So
I know what you mean.
hopefully, please.
I hope to. I hope to.
Give me out of Bruges.
Yeah, true. Ran, also, I have a question. Now I want to think which question I would like to ask first. You know, all right. Let's ask your personal questions. You know, not personal about drinks. You know.
Okay, no.
What's your favorite category of drinks? I heard rum, but I wasn't sure if it's. Sorry.
Short drinks. Done. Next one.
Sorry, didn't hear you.
Short drinks. Short drinks.
Oh,
Sazeracs. Boom.
Okay. But and what talking about spirit?
Well, nowadays it's rum.
Rum. Okay.
Oh my god. Oh wait, I'm gonna show you this.
All right.
This is a world exclusive.
Okay.
So I've been working for the first time ever on a concept menu. So I've been bartending for like 10 years. What was it? Just like drinks that I thought that were good on the menu, and I was like making menus. I was like, okay, these drinks are gonna be good. But now for the first time, I did like a concept menu where I'm gonna have one concept, then I'm gonna base 10 drinks around it. And also one of the top selling drinks in the bars are daiquiris. So we have like a top shelf. Wait, I don't know if you see it.
I can see, but not what is there clearly. I know. I see
all super special daiquiris. So our designer made this one, so it's super big. Like we've been to, it's a daiquiri world map that we made.
Okay, that looks cool. Whoa.
Especially for the bar, with all of our favorite daiquiris on top. So it's like, it's like the daiquiri world map.
Daiquiri world map. So what is that exactly? Is that daiquiris from all the different countries, regions of the world?
That's gonna happen. Where we're gonna serve. Wait, I'm gonna be. Wait. Yeah.
It looks very cool. Just I can't read those small letters. I can read the big one.
So it's basically like, I think about 26 daiquiris, and with all different rums, like all the rums we really love and really enjoy. And again, also rum that we're going to release next week. So it's quite fun.
Okay, that looks very cool. So it will have 26 different daiquiris.
Yeah, exactly. I love daiquiris. Like, and I've seen like the last 2 months that we were open, I think about like 56% of our sales were daiquiris. Just like boom, boom, boom. So good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, daiquiri is a great cocktail. So okay, then can you share a daiquiri recipe with us? Like your favorite personally.
Your favorite spirit. So 6 mils of rum. Then we have we have 25 mils of fresh lime juice.
Okay.
Then we have 20 mils of coconut water simple syrup. So you just take coconut water and then you
Okay.
do equal parts with sugar. Because I
Okay.
learned in the artisan from the great Remy Savage and
Oh,
Emilio Salvo, that if you use coconut water, you don't get flavor, but more like a viscosity, like thickness, oiliness. And then we do 1 bar spoon of caster sugar, and then
okay.
it's like Jesus Christ, so good.
Okay. So it's 60 milliliters of rum,
Yeah,
25 fresh lime juice, 20
yeah.
milliliters sugar syrup based on coconut water, and
Yeah,
extra 1
1 bar spoon of
caster sugar.
raw caster sugar, but use a rum that's overproof, like Ray Nephew. Oh my God,
Okay.
my favorite. Yeah, I love it so much.
Okay, okay. Sounds very nice. Sounds very nice. I definitely would try that recipe. All right, Ran, and tell us what does the most interesting cocktail or concept? I don't say that maybe in a good or in a bad way. This I mean, in
Yeah.
sometimes in very freaky and awkward way. You ever seen through your travels or through your judging competitions, what is the most, like, let's say, the most crazy cocktail idea in good or in bad way?
Yeah, so in a good way, I think number one is Dante, New York City. It's their fluffy Garibaldi. So it's Campari Orange. So this is something that you've been into. Yeah, you've been a bartender. Like at one point, someone has asked you for a Campari and orange juice.
Okay.
So Dante has mastered the Campari orange juice so well. They make a fluffy orange juice. They make something like when I was in New York for 4 days straight. I went back to Dante just to drink the specific like Garibaldi was so good. That was for me like the example of like making a basic drink like really good. And then
Okay.
the one thing that I've learned so much about and that gave me so much inspiration was Shingo Gokan. He's for me, he's my like my ultra bartender. Like he every bar that he opened is so well thought about, is so successful, is so good, is so like I've been to most of his places, and
Mm.
everything is so like so detailed and so well thought about. And I'm like, this guy for me, like I want to become a Shingo Goken, like I want to become a guy that has a couple of bars, but all the bars are as good as one another. Like all the stuff, it's insane. It's so good. So only positive things. I have
Okay.
negative things, but I'm gonna keep it for myself.
Okay. So you don't want to share those awkward
Yeah,
cocktails,
we
like.
were going in a private conversation.
Okay, okay. So one day when I'll come to your bar or you come to visit Miami, we will
Please,
have some
please,
daiquiris and
Miami, get me to Miami.
you're always welcome. All right, Ron. One question for the end. So you really achieved a great success. You win one of the most toughest and most interesting bartending competitions. You opened your own bar. You travel the world. You like a lot of things.
Yeah.
What's your dream? What's your dream in 10 years, let's say 10, 15 years, like a long time goal? What would you like to achieve, do, become? I'm not talking about professional life, about industry, not personal. Don't go into your personal life. Leave it to you.
But no, it's funny because like you asked me this, and I just told you about that I'm just going to release my first concept menu. So my first concept menu is the bucket list menu. It's
Okay.
about like the 10 things that I want to achieve in 5 years. So it's
Oh,
about how I want to be in 5 years. So it's just like a menu based around 10 different subjects that I want to do or want to achieve within my life. So there's like 10 things that I'm going to say to you that I created drinks around, like glassware, drinks,
wow.
things like blah, blah. So this is the
That's
first menu
very
that,
interesting.
that Bar Ryan is going to release. It's the first concept menu. So like the bucket list menu. It's about, for example, one of the things that I really wish to do. Maybe I'm going to be 65 years old, but I've been always fascinated about space, like about our first venture to the moon, to Mars, to blah blah. Like even
Okay.
nothing to do with that shit. Even if I'm just a bartender, I'm always
O-
like, whenever I see,
Opening the bar in Mars, the first bar in Mars.
hey, who knows? Who knows? Hey, and hey, I'm gonna name it Out of This World. That's
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, guys. No, but like the thing is, like this has always fascinated me, and like these are one of the subjects that I'm gonna make a drink around it, and I have a glassware. Look at this,
So
but exclusive.
okay,
So this is the glassware for my drink around space. So this is
it's like a metal.
new, yeah. So it's like so we're gonna put one big block of ice into it,
Oh
then
yeah.
olive oil drops on top, and then oh wait, then a small bubble and blah blah. So it's gonna be like super
Good.
terrestrial. So
Good.
yeah, so we're gonna do 10 drinks around the whole idea. So when you ask me what I want to achieve in 10 or 5 years, it's just yeah, doing the things privately and professionally.
Mhm.
Professionally, I want to have one of the best bars in the world. Like even if it's not on paper, I want to have it for my guests.
Okay.
I want to achieve a point where I say like, okay, now we're in a very good vibe, and we're in a very good place where we are allowed to serve very experimental drinks. Because now Bruges, like Belgium in general, Belgium is very like easy on special drinks. Like we're not as knowledge. Like I've worked in London for 6 months. People are like, okay, I'm gonna have an extra dirty martini with 3 olives. I want a dash of this, dash of this. And then here in Belgium, you say like, you want a dry martini? You want with an olive? Like an olive inside my dry martini? Like what? Like like we have to still educate. And the thing is, what I
Okay.
want to do,
I didn't know that.
like the thing is, like I want to um, educate Belgium in that matter. Like I don't want to sound like very like what blah blah. Like I want to educate Belgium,
I
but
understand what you mean. It's okay. You
I
don't
want to
sound.
make Belgium a destination because for now it's not a cocktail destination. In no one's mind, like saying like we're gonna do a trip to Belgium, we're gonna visit this bar and this bar and that bar, and we have a lot of fantastic bars, like great bars in Belgium, but no one's ever willing to visit it. So I want to be one of the front pioneers to um, spread the message about Belgium being great. Like this is what I want to achieve in 5 years. Like being one of the forefront guys. Belgium is great in cocktails. Uh,
Okay.
I just want to have a healthy bar with good drinks, and then I just want to have a great family with hopefully 2 kids because I have 1 kid now, but I want to
Okay.
have two. So
Halfway there.
yeah, come on. So yeah, so this is my my 5 year challenge. I don't have another bar, but my wife won't let me because she's right. It's gonna cause too much headaches.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. So you will have to fight, not fight, but you will have to overcome this idea that Belgium is a beer country, you know?
Waffles and beer and chocolates.
Yeah, so but I mean, I'm from the drinks perspective. Everybody's like Belgium is more beer than a cocktail, so it's would be hard to beat that. I mean, it would
Yeah,
be interesting.
true.
Okay, so thank you, Ram, for sharing your ideas, for sharing your goals and your ideas, your journey in bartending. It was really interesting to hear, and I got personally, I got a lot of very nice ideas, and even these are simple things, but I'm noticing more and more that simple things makes that what makes you on the top, like repeating, rehearsing, like training on your speech is simple. It's nothing too complicated to just do that 5 times a day, every for 6 months. But you have to do it. That's the hard part, and that's it. And it gives you a much bigger chances of winning the competition. And the winning competition really changes the life. I can see we heard that from you, and it's really an amazing thing. So thank you for sharing everything, all your wisdom. I believe I was not the only who was inspired, and many more people who will hear it, because this podcast will stay. It's live, but it's live uh, just to make it. And I mean, it will stay so people could see it anytime in the future. And I believe many people would be inspired by your journey and by your story. So thank you very much, Ran, for being my guest. It was an honor.
Hope to see you next time in Miami, right?
Yeah, if you're coming to Miami, definitely let me know. And if I'm coming go to Belgium, so for sure I hope I have a friend there.
You have me now.
All right, Ran.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
Bye.
much. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching this podcast. I am sure you should get inspired by Ran's story and by his wisdom to become a better bartenders in bars or in competitions. And I just want to remind, but I am trying to bring an inspirational person once a week to share the knowledge and for everybody to become better bartenders. So thank you very much, everybody watching this. Thank you, Ran, once more for being my guest. And have a great evening. Yeah, it's evening there. Bye. Bye.
Bye. See you. Cheers.
Yeah, see you.
Cheers.